welcome back to my channel. My name is Hannah and today we're going to make some crochet stress balls. These are so cute and so fun and they work up really fast. I can make one of these in about 15 minutes. It's just a cute little face. You squeeze it and the stress ball comes out. Alright, let's get started. Alright, I've got all of my supplies here and we are going to start making our stress ball. I'm going to take this yarn. This is Premier Parfait Chunky in the color Lagoon. And I'm using a 5mm hook. So to start, I like using the chain 2 method rather than a magic ring, but you can do whichever one you like the most. So I'm going to chain 2, and then in the second chain from the hook, I am going to single crochet 6 stitches into the magic ring, or into the second chain, to create a magic ring. Alright, I got 6 stitches, and so now we're going to increase in every single stitch around, so we should end up with 12. Next, we're going to do 1 single crochet and then an increase in the next stitch, and that should leave us with 18 at the end of the round. So I'm going to do 1 single crochet, and then the next stitch I'm going to increase, and repeat that all the way around. Okay, we're going to do 2 rounds of just single crocheting 18 stitches around. So we're going to just single crochet 18 around for 2 rounds. All right, I just did 18, and now we're going to repeat that and go around and do 18 single crochets again. Okay, for this next round, we are going to start by making the mouth hole where the stress ball will come out. So we're going to chain 2, then we're going to skip the next 2 stitches. So this is the stitch that the chain's coming out of. We're going to skip this one, skip that one, and we're going to single crochet here into this 3rd stitch. Okay, after we've done that, we're going to do 15 more single crochets around. Okay, so this hole here creates the mouth that the stress ball is going to come out of. To continue, we're going to do 18 single crochets around, but with this mouth piece, the first 2 single crochets are going to go through this hole. So we're going to take our hook, insert it into the hole, pull up, and do 2 single crochets that way. Into the hole, pull it up, yarn over, pull through. Okay, and then we'll do 16 single crochets around. So starting right here at this next stitch, make sure you don't forget this stitch. It usually is a little bit tighter than the rest of the stitches to get your hook through, but it should be fine. Okay, so at the end of this round, you might want to just double check your stitch count and make sure that you have 18 stitches, because this, when you single crochet through here, this is a common place where we get some missed. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right, and I have 18 stitches, so we'll continue. The next round, we're going to do a single crochet and then a decrease all the way around, so 6 times, which should leave you with 12 stitches. So our single crochet, then I like to use the invisible decrease. You can do whatever you feel comfortable with, but the invisible decrease will help eliminate gaps, which will help if you have gaps in this, then when you squeeze the stress ball might come out of the gaps. So I'll show you here how I do a invisible decrease. Basically, in the next 2 stitches, we're going to pull up the front loop only. So we're going to go front loop only, front loop only. So you should have 3 loops in your hook, and then you're going to yarn over, pull it through the first 2 loops, and then yarn over again and pull it through the last 2 hoops. And we'll repeat that all the way around. Okay, we should have 12 stitches at this point. Now I'm going to take my hook out and set that down for a second. And we're going to add the eyes and the stress ball. So for the eyes, I like to use buttons for the eyes. You can embroider eyes on if you want, or you can use felt eyes and glue them on. I like to use the buttons. They're fast and easy, and it turns out pretty cute. So I'm going to grab 2 buttons here. The buttons that I use are 9mm buttons. So they're about this big. Then I have black crochet thread, which just keeps collecting the extra fluff from my yarns. And I have a needle threader. This is how I'm going to get the crochet thread through the buttonholes. These you should be able to get at any craft store. They're really cheap, so it just makes it a little easier. So to start, I'm going to take the needle threader and put it through one of the holes of the button. Then we'll take our crochet thread and we'll put it through the needle threader. Then all you do is take the needle threader and pull it out through the hole of the button, and now we've got it threaded. So now we're going to do that another time. So this needs to go back down through that hole. So we're going to put our needle threader in again. Thread the needle and pull it through. So your eye should look like this, where we've gone up and then back down through the hole. And now we're going to add this to our crochet piece. So I like to insert my eyes. Here's the mouth round. I'm going to put it in the round right above it, so on kind of the two corners of the mouth. So I'm going to put my eye so that it covers this stitch and it covers this stitch. So to do that, I'm going to put my needle on the inside, and I'm going to grab the left side of that stitch, take this thread and pull it through so the eye will eventually sit right there. Now we're going to take our crochet thread, and the eye is now going to go, I want it to kind of sit on this stitch, so we're going to insert our hook there. Oops. Grab our crochet thread and pull it up through. And now we're going to thread our other button. So we're going to take our needle threader, put it in the button, thread the needle threader and pull it through. Okay, same thing to thread the other side of the needle. Okay, so we have our button. Sometimes you can kind of play with, does it look better on this side or this side? I'm kind of laying them down to figure out where exactly I want the eyes to sit. I think I like it. I think that the eyes are too close, so I think I'm going to put it this way. So we're going to cover this stitch right here. So I'm going to insert my hook, and we're just going to grab the crochet thread and pull it to the inside of our guy. Next, we need scissors, and we're going to, you want to make sure that the end of this is long enough that you can tie it in a knot, because we're going to tie these two ends together, and that's how we're going to secure the eyes. So we're going to cut this, making sure that we leave enough yarn to tie it in a knot, and we're going to pull it through. So I want it to cover this stitch, so I want it right there. So I'm going to insert into the center, into that hole, and grab that thread, pull it through. So I want to make sure that the eyes are tight. They look good. So now I'm going to flip this inside out. So from here, I want the knot to be up here. So I'm going to pull this through and bring it up here. And since this yarn is plush, you should not be able to see that on the end result. The only thing is if we just tied it right here, then these ends would poke through the mouth when you're squeezing it. So if we make it so the knot's up here, then it won't poke out through its mouth, and we can keep this hidden. So now I'll just tie it in a knot up there. And if your ends are too long, I would snip them so that they don't end up poking through that mouth. Okay, and now we can flip it back. And this is what we're left with. So now we're going to add the stress ball. Done with all that. These stress balls I just get from Amazon. They come individually wrapped like this, and I get like 60 of them in a case, and so then I kind of choose yarn colors to match the stress balls because they come in a variety of colors. So I'm going to open the stress ball. I love these rainbow ones, and I thought that this kind of blue color matches the yarn, so they'll look really cute together. So to insert in here, this piece I don't want poking out through the mouth, so I always take the seal and put it on the opposite side of wherever the hole is for it. So I'm going to make sure that the seal ends up on the back side, and I'm going to just insert this into my, you kind of just have to jam it in to get it in there. But these stress balls are pretty sturdy. Some of the other ones that are just filled with like the white liquid flowery kind of substance, they tend to pop easier. So these stress balls, they last. I've never had one pop inside. As long as you're using the buttons, since the backs of the safety eyes tend to pop holes in these. Now we have one more round to do to finish this off. So I'm going to insert my hook back into my loop here. And for the last round, we are going to decrease the entire way around. So we're going to do 6 decreases, so we should have 6 stitches at the end. And again, I'm going to do invisible decreases. So I'm going to pick up the 2 front loops, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over again, and pull through. Okay, now I'm going to leave this long enough so I can sew it shut and clip that. Using the Parfait Chunky and this size hook, I found it's kind of the perfect size to keep the stress ball in there. It should be pretty tight in there. If you use a bigger yarn and you have some extra room, I would stuff it with some stuffing to make sure it's kind of nice and tight in there so that when you squeeze it, it comes out and it's not extra saggy of the outside. So basically, to finish off, we're just going to sew it shut. So I'm just going to pull this through all of those stitches, weaving it in and out is how I like to sew it shut. Okay, I'm going to pull it tight and I'm going to secure it in the back because I don't want the tail to go migrate to the front of the ball and then come out its mouth. And then I'm just going to pull it through in the back so it kind of stays in the back. So I'm going to insert my hook, pull this through to hide it. And then we're just going to cut that off. Get that out of the way and we'll pull that into the inside so that it is hidden. There. Get rid of some of that extra fluff and we're finished. They're so cute. They're so fast and easy to make. I bring these to all of my craft shows and markets and I sell out every single time. They're just so fun and unique. If you like this, I also have frogs and whales and chicken pattern available on my Etsy shop. And you're finished with your stress ball. He is so fun. If you liked this pattern, check out my Etsy shop because I also have the patterns for this chicken that lays an egg and this frog and whales. Get a cute little tail and it comes right out the blowhole like it's blowing out some water. Every time I bring these to my craft shows, I sell out every single time. So they're super easy, super fun, and a great seller. So I hope you make time.